Winter Bells by Penstroke. Chapter 7. A Tooth and a Camera. The night was cool in Canterlot, an ideal night for most heartwarming Eve celebrations. It was warm enough for ponies to be outside, to travel to parties and family gatherings. The nip in the air, however, was just sharp enough that once a pony got where they were going, all they wanted to do was go where it was warm, enjoy a tall mug of hot cocoa. But for some ponies, the frigid trip outside was not meant to be a short one, nor was it an end in sight. Shivering, Applejack adjusted her hat so it sat down over her ears, and pulled the jacket she had been loaned tighter around her body. The coat was from a servant pony about 2 sizes larger than her, but she didn't complain. Right now, she and every pony else had bigger concerns than an ill-fitting jacket. Coming to a stop at the crest of a hill in the castle gardens, Applejack lifted a hoof to her mouth and called out in the air, "Max!" A shuffle of hooves in the snow behind her made Applejack glance to her side. She had been paired with Twilight Velvet, who probably should have stayed inside the castle. Her mane was disheveled, and she was a ball of nervous, pent-up, panicked energy. It was similar to how Twilight had been when she feared she was going to turn in her friendship report late, proving she truly was her mother's daughter. Applejack waited, watching as Velvet came up the hill slowly. Each of her hoof steps was labored and slow, like she was wearing cement shoes. "Come on, Velvet! You're the one that's supposed to be in the lead. You know the castle grounds better than I do." "Sorry," Velvet said, finally making it to the top of the hill. She was bundled up in her own coat, and the makeup she had worn for the passage reception had been washed away, first by tears of fear, then by a wet rag. "Listen, Velvet, none of us will think any less of you if you want to stay inside," Applejack said. "We got plenty of ice out here. We'll find her." "No, I want to help look," Velvet said, taking a step down from the crest of the hill. "I'm worried about her, too." Velvet and Applejack approached the gazebo that was one of the many landmarks in the castle gardens. It was like a scene from a greetings card. The gazebo and its surrounding ground were covered with a thick, fluffy blanket of snow, but the space beneath the gazebo's roof was clear. It was a space that the pair had entered gladly, the hooves clattering against the wood as they took a moment to shake the snow from their legs. "Max!" Applejack called out again, her voice joining other shouts in the night. Rainbow Dash and Cadence were in the air with the Pegasi guard, and Rarity was with Nightlight, searching the other side of the castle. There were also a dozen teams of guards outside, and even more scouring the castle's interior. It was a systematic search that started almost as soon as Twilight realized Nyx had vanished. And Pinkie Pie. "Hey, Applejack! Did you know you look silly upside down?" And of course Pinkie Pie was searching the only way she knew how. Randomly. Applejack and Velvet had already crossed paths with the pink party pony once, but now she was on the roof of the gazebo, hanging her head over the edge. "Hi, Blanky. Has anybody found her yet?" Applejack asked. "No answer," she answered, her smile weakening for a moment. Still, her grin soon bounced back, regaining its strength. "But we'll find her. I know we will. I'm the best hide-and-seeker in Ponyville, and—" A snowball sailed through the air, splatting against Pinkie's face, and causing her to tumble off the top of the gazebo, along with a small avalanche of snow. The tightly packed snowball had been thrown by Velvet, who was shaking. "Is my family's safety just a game to you?" "Whoa there!" Applejack said, quickly stepping between the two ponies. She turned to Velvet and placed a hoof on her shoulder. "Listen, Sir Cube, Pinkie Pie doesn't mean any disrespect. She's helping search just like the rest of us, but she's doing it her way. And trust me, I place bets Pinkie Pie's the one that finds Nyx first." Velvet huffed a little, but then frowned and nodded. Applejack patted her shoulder reassuringly, then turned to Pinkie Pie. "Hi! You okay?" Pinkie Pie popped out of the pile of snow, like confetti out of a party popper, and nodded. She had a beard of snow and large, wassy snow eyebrows, but she made no effort to shake them off as she smiled at Applejack. "Yep, I'm okay as a bale hay." "Then let's get back to searching," Applejack said. Pinkie Pie brought a hoof to her head, saluting. "You got it, Mon Captain!" She then zipped off, and jumped into a nearby pile of snow. Applejack then saw a trail of upturned snow moving away from the pile. A sign Pinky was digging through a tunnel through the snow. How can she be so happy? Velvet asked as he came down beside Applejack. I don't think being the element lantern has something to do with it, Applejack commented, a small smile on her face. But don't misunderstand her. She's just as worried as the rest of us. She's trying hard, just as hard to find links. Like, was it for her and her Pinky Saints? That catwalk probably would have caught me and the rest of our friends. What do you mean? Do you remember hearing some pony shout Twitchy Tail before everything started coming down? Velvet started to think for a moment, but then nodded. I do. That was Pinky. See, has this. She sends Barrett to tells her when things are about to happen. And she's saying something was going to fall. And the pony pal, when Pinky's a twitching, you better listen. But what if she hadn't shouted? Twilight, Shining, and Cadence. All of you were on stage, and that catwalk came down on top of you. You all could have been... Sugar Cube, Applejack said, trying to be as kind as he could. I know what almost happened. I probably won't sleep right for a week because of what almost happened. But we can't change that. And we can't think about it right now. Lex is still missing. We need to help her. Now, come on! Let's keep looking. Silently, like the moon in the sky, Luna stood in the pageant hall, which had all been abandoned when the search for Nix began. The catwalk still lay in the heat, a splintered centerpiece to an destruction that had ruined the otherwise pleasant evening. She watched the shining armor work to clean the mess, using his magic to disassemble and break apart the catwalk, set the pieces off to the side of the room. Luna had requested that Shining stay behind to investigate the accident while she supervised. It had taken Shining less than a second to see through the sugar coating, but he didn't protest his punishment either. He had gone to work dutifully, beginning to break apart and disassemble the fallen catwalk. Still, Luna hadn't asked Shining to stay with her solely as punishment. She wanted a chance to hear his side of things for herself. She also felt it was best if Twilight and Cadence had some time to calm down. Neither of them wanted to see, let alone talk to Shining at the moment. I did feel the blood taken from Twilight during the initial spell was somehow used to bewitch her. Shining nodded and gritted his teeth. He tore a chunk of metal away from the records. I do, he said quietly, before tossing the pieces in a pile that had formed off the stage. I looked it up in the archives of the Crystal Empire. It's hard to do, but that kind of subtle mind control can be very effective and hard to detect. Mostly because it isn't cast on the pony you want to control. It's cast on something else. Something you want them to break, protect, or even care for. Yes, Luna confirmed. Such magic does exist. Your sister caused quite a ruckus in Ponyville with the What It Needed spell, which is a far more extreme version of what you're describing. But Shining, do you honestly feel you chose the best time to make your fears known? No, I probably picked the worst time, he said with a sigh, as he threw another scrap onto the pile. I was trying to wait until after the holidays. I wanted this to be a good heartwarming for Cadence, and I knew that wouldn't happen if I tried to talk to Twilight about Nix. I knew she was going to get mad. But when the catwalk fell, when Nix tried to hurt Twilight and Cadence, I just couldn't wait any longer. You still assume that Nix is the one that caused the catwalk to fail? Who else could have been? Shining asked, pausing from his work. The room was dark when it happened. If it had been some pony in the audience, we would have seen the glow from their horn. And Nix was up on the catwalk, by herself. She went up there with me and Cadence, and was still there when we started to do our part for the scene. Being at the right place at the right time is not enough to convict some pony of a crime, Shining. As previous captain of the guard, you know we need evidence. Shining turned back to the pile, his horn glowing as he tried to heft up a particularly large piece of records. Well, if she used magic, then you know as well as I do, trying to find evidence of it is like finding a needle in a... Shining managed to finally get the large chunk of catwalk off the stage, but instead of levitating out the stage straight away, he instead paused and cocked his head. What is that? What did you find? Luna asked, and quickly strode across the stage. She looked across the large hole in the stage that had been revealed. The boards were splintered from the impact, Through the hole they could see more of the catwalk's wreckage that ended up beneath the stage. But the thing that had drawn Shiny's attention wasn't on the floor below them. It was hanging precariously off of splintered pieces of stage boards. Luna levitated the small item up with great care, turning it over in her magic. It was a camera with a neck brace. It wasn't a family's camera used to snap pictures of vacations and holidays. It was a professional grade and well made. Shining, Luna asked, did you notice any pony backstage with a camera? No, he answered. His horn glowed. And look, there's something in the viewfinder. Luna couldn't help but arch her brow. The what? The part you look through, Shining said as he used his magic to extract the item that was wedged through the glass of the viewfinder. It was small, white, and had little bits of blood on it. Is this a tooth? Luna looked tooth from Shining armor, holding both it and the camera in her magic. She stared intently at the two items, her eyebrows slowly furrowing. She believed she knew the origins of the tooth. Thus there was a chance she knew who the camera belonged to. But to be sure, the Princess of the Night began to weave her magic around the two items. What are you doing, Princess? I am casting a scrying spell, Luna said as she continued to work her magic. Your sister used such a spell to find the underground location of Nightstone Castle, and I wish to find who this camera and tooth belong to. But don't you need a map? That is the modern version of the scrying spell. A millennia past, when Equestria was not so well mapped, a more rudimentary scrying spell was commonly used. These enchanted isles will not be able to tell us their exact location, but they will point us in the right direction. Luna turned her face Shining, and, with little warning, placed the camera and its brace around his neck and secured it in place. Take the camera, go where it leads, and apprehend the pony it leads to. That pony knows something of what transpired this night. But how's this going to lead me any? Shining began to ask, only to feel a tug on his neck. The camera lurched on the right a little. Not enough to be painful or to cause Shining to trip, but like the camera had been nudged by some pony who wanted him to take a picture of something in particular. Never mind! It's a strong reaction for how weak I made the scrying spell. The pony this camera belongs to is still near the castle. Luna says she held the tooth in her magic. With a small flash, like a star bursting to life in the heavens, Luna manifested the small glass spear around the tooth. She then finished the enchantment on the tooth, causing it to fly to one edge of the spear, pointing forward and slowly up. It would seem this tooth had belonged to another pony who is even closer, Shining. When you apprehend the camera's owner, bring him to the medical wards. Then feel free to begin questioning him on the way. Are you sure you want me to start the questioning? Luna spread her wings, left her on the stage, and landed on the floor below. Yes, I do. For the greatest understanding of any truth comes from discovering it yourself.